Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a boy named Arif. Arif was known throughout the village for one thing, his laziness. While other children helped their families, learned new skills, or went to school, Arif spent his days sleeping, playing games, or staring at the clouds. His father, a hard-working farmer, often said, "Arif, time is like water. If you don't collect it, it slips through your fingers." But Arif would laugh and reply, "Why worry, Baba? There's always tomorrow." The villagers started calling him Arif the Lazy, and while the name annoyed his parents, Arif didn't care. He thought life was long, and he had plenty of time to figure things out. One summer evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, a traveler arrived in the village. The man was dressed in simple robes, with a serene face that radiated wisdom. The villagers gathered around him, curious about the stranger. The traveler introduced himself as a monk, traveling from village to village to share stories and wisdom. He asked, "Who among you values time the most?" The villagers laughed and pointed at Arif. "Ask him, he has all the time in the world," one of them joked. The monk smiled and said, "Perhaps Arif can help me with an experiment." Arif, intrigued by the monk's calm demeanor, agreed. The monk handed Arif a glass jar filled with small golden pebbles. "These pebbles represent the time you have in a day," he explained. "Each pebble is a moment. Use them wisely." Confused but curious, Arif decided to carry the jar with him for a week. At first, he didn't pay much attention to the pebbles. He played games, napped, and wasted time as usual. But by the third day, he noticed something strange. The jar was getting emptier, even though he hadn't done anything meaningful. Arif asked the monk, "Why are the pebbles disappearing?" The monk replied, "That's the nature of time, Arif. It slips away, whether you use it or not. The question is, what will you do with the pebbles you have left?" The monk's words struck a chord in Arif's heart. He began to notice how others in the village used their time. His father woke up before sunrise to plow the fields. His mother spent hours weaving beautiful fabrics. Even the youngest children in the village helped with chores or studied diligently. For the first time, Arif felt ashamed of his laziness. He decided to change. The next morning, Arif woke up early and went to his father. "Baba, teach me how to plow the fields," he said. His father was surprised but happy. Arif's first day of work was tough, his muscles ached, and he wanted to quit, but he remembered the monk's words about the golden pebbles. Gradually, Arif started managing his time. He divided his day into tasks, helping his father, learning to read, and even teaching younger children in the village. His reputation began to change, and the villagers no longer called him Arif the Lazy. Months later, the monk returned to the village. Arif ran to him, holding the empty jar of pebbles. "I understand now," Arif said. "Every moment is precious. I've started using my time wisely, and my life feels fuller than ever." The monk smiled and said, "You've learned the most important lesson, Arif. Time is the only resource that, once lost, can never be regained. Cherish it, and it will reward you with a life of purpose and fulfillment." Years passed, and Arif grew into a wise and successful man. He transformed his father's farm into a flourishing enterprise and became a respected figure in the village. Whenever people asked him the secret to his success, he would smile and tell them the story of the golden pebbles. And so, Arif's story became a lesson for generations, teaching them that time is the greatest treasure of all. Moral of the story: time is limited and invaluable. Use it wisely, and it will lead you to success and happiness. This story can be expanded further to reach the desired word count. Let me know if you'd like specific sections or dialogues elaborated.